Yeah, for them.
For the animals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think puts them in this situation?
The cameraman?
No, like why are they in these places being killed, do you think?
I think the cameraman did.
Well, the cameraman's just documenting what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the cameraman is part of it. Like, look what's the cameraman doing. Like, it's watching them, like, being tortured and it's just recording. Like, I think that's the first issue I have.
Right, so the camera people are often activists that are going in and trying to expose what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same as if you were documenting something, other injustice happening.
Yeah.
They are just trying to show the public.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't get to see what's happening. So the activist isn't contributing, and often they're sneaking in and getting bits of footage and then having to sneak out again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they get in trouble. Like the industry has created laws to prevent people from being able to show what happens in these places.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so in some places you're not even allowed to document the animals on the trucks on the way to the slaughterhouse in some countries.
Is it?
Why do you think they're trying to do so much to hide the truth of what's happening? The industry.
They don't want people to see it.
Why?
Like I said, it's live torturing. Like, who would like to see these things?
Yeah. So because you think people would be against it, right? Like they would think it's wrong.
Yeah.
And what about yourself? Do you think this is wrong?
It's very wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
So are
wrong.
you vegan?
No, meat lover.
So if you think this is wrong, but then you pay for the products, does that say that your values and your actions are different?
It depends. I mean, like, if you want to be vegan or not.
But do you agree that they're only in this situation because of the consumer's money? Like I ate meat for 20 years and I paid.
Hey, so you're part of it, man.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make up for the horrible things I contributed to, right?
Yeah?
I can't really go back and help those animals that I paid for to be killed.
Yeah.
So that's why I spend my time trying to get other people to realize that if they're against animal abuse, but they pay for it, it's hypocrisy.
Yeah, I'll say so.
And most people don't want to be hypocrites. They want to be in alignment with their values, like me, and other people. But what about you? Do you think your values and morals are more in alignment with veganism?
I'll be honest with you. Like, I haven't thought of it like veganism or like meat love. Neither of them. Like, I'm just surprised by this video and I don't like it at all.
No, and this is the standard practice of what we support when we pay for animal products.
Standard practice.
Yep.
Like just like this.
Standard. Yep. This is a gas chamber. There's one I've been to here in WA. They lower the pigs into a gas chamber.
Yeah.
And they gas them to basically suffocate them to death using gas. And the gas bonds with the fluid in their lungs, and it's
That's torturing.
Well, that's where bacon comes from. Yeah.
All right.
So, is there a way that we could do this, like to kill someone, where you would find it acceptable?
I'm not really sure, like, but if it could be stopped, then yeah, that would be fine.
And how can we stop it on an individual level from this from happening?
It's had to be stopped. I mean, like, there's a lot of meat lovers people who want to eat meat, and people who just want to kill others. So, like.
But you wouldn't do that, right? You wouldn't kill.
You know, I was part of it. You know, like, and I'm still part of it until I saw this video. And
now you know. Yeah.
I just have to think about it.
You have to think, and that's why we're here, to get people thinking more about it.
Yeah.
And what we do is we offer some resources with documentaries and different things that help you to see what you're supporting and to just make the connection with the animal.
All right.
I'll give you that one.
I think already I've been given one.
You've been given one?
Yeah.
And because, I guess, do you think this is an injustice? What we do to animals?
I mean, like, if the government is part of it, then like, who am I just to judge the government? I mean, they are the feeders and feed us.
Let me put it in a context which most of us understand.
I just give you an example. Like, I'm not sure about.
No. So let's apply that. So let's say the government says it's legal.
Yeah.
What was legal in America a couple of hundred years ago?
This is Australia. Like, I haven't thought about America.
Well, but you know about America, right? You know the history of human slavery there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was legal. The government was on board with it.
The human slavery is different than this.
It's an injustice. So that's the parallel I'm drawing. There's an injustice taking place.
That's a long way.
The reason why I think you might feel that way is because we, as a society, are human supremacists. Like we tend to view human lives as being more
What does that
valuable.
mean?
Like we see ourselves as supreme
you know, like-
over other beings.
Do you mind like my English is like my second language? Do you mind? Like, what does that mean? Like, as
Human supremacy.
yeah. What does that mean?
So like, you know, if you think that you're superior
yeah.
to someone else, you think you're better than them.
To someone or to an animal?
Well, human supremacy is to any non-humans. We think we put humans at the top
Yeah.
in the same way that some people put other races at the bottom, and then we had white supremacy. White supremacy was thinking that you're better than someone of color, and this is human supremacy, where humans think that they are better than all other beings. So when we address human supremacy, our perspective of realizing that we're putting their value of life lower,
Yeah.
then we can start to undo the conditioning. Because discrimination against anybody is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Whether they're an animal or human. And the way that we're raised is to see some animals as having value, like dogs and cats, and other animals as having no moral value. That's discrimination.
Yeah.
That's like saying that person has value because of this and that person doesn't. Because at a fundamental level, all of these animals feel pain and suffer despite their physical appearances.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it make more sense to be against discrimination and injustice against any being?
I'm still confused about one part. Like I said, English is like my second language. Like, I don't know why you call them being.
Being as in like a entity, like, because we're a species of animal,
Okay.
and we're a great ape, a species of animal, and they're a species of animal, and we're all beings as in we have what's called sentience. We're not a tree. A tree isn't a being. A human is a being because we have a subjective experience.
No,
you know
but
what subjective?
You know, like to me, it feels like you call like an animal a being.
Yeah, they are. They're because there's someone in there.
Can that process just be taken out of the animal?
No, like the animal is someone.
Yeah.
If you think of only as someone as a human, you're narrowing it to one species.
But I think there's a lot of different species like this. Cows and
Yeah.
pigs.
But why are we someone and they're not someone?
Yeah, I know.
Because we've been conditioned by society to view these animals as inferior. We don't even consider them victims in the same way that in other injustices, white supremacists didn't view African Americans as having, you know, either it's a soul or they're not the same, or, you know.
So how could we avoid all this?
So the best thing you can do is on an individual level is to be vegan,
Yeah.
because then you're not contributing to this.
Like, what if you cannot be vegan? Like,
Everyone can be vegan
yeah.
because
Are
it's,
you a vegan?
yeah.
Like for example, let's say I want to be a vegan. Like, what kind of foods do you have to eat?
So you can basically, what do you like? What kind of foods do you eat?
I'll be honest with you, man. I'll like nothing but meat.
But you surely eat some type of cuisine, right? Like what type of cultural cuisine do you like? Like do you have pastas, or do you have curries or soups
Pizza.
or pizza? So you can get vegan pizza. Do you make pizza or do you buy pizza?
I buy pizza.
Where from?
Like any store probably.
So you know Domino's does a vegan pizza.
Yeah.
So most places do vegan options now. You can get vegan burritos. So all you're doing is substituting what might otherwise be an animal product.
Yeah.
You're either taking the meat off, or if they have the option of a vegan meat made from plants, then you just choose that instead. To give you an example, let's say you go to get a burrito.
Yeah.
Instead of the meat, you get the black beans.
Is it?
And you get guacamole instead of sour cream. So you can still have all the same foods you like, but just the vegan version. And the reason you do that is because,
I don't know how to avoid it actually.
well, you learn, right? So what we do, we give information. Have you been given one of these?
Yeah.
So these are products at the supermarket, and you will see on the label if it's vegan. It'll say vegan,
Alright.
and then you'll know that there's no animal products or animal exploitation involved. And then you can just simplify. Like for me, I just eat what's called a whole food plant-based diet, which is the healthiest for you. where I don't even eat the processed foods. I just have the fruits, the vegetables, the pastas, the rice, the beans, the lentils, chickpeas, and I spice it with flavoring and.
That sounds delicious. I feel like going somewhere and eat now.
That's amazing, man. And so what I would suggest is you look further into it for yourself.
Yeah.
And do you have you've got the internet on your phone or you've got a computer?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so you can, I don't know if it's on here. Yeah, you got Vegan 22. If you go to that website, you sign up for free for 22 days and they give you recipes, places to eat. You can ask them questions and basically get support for 22 days. And that helps you to transition so that if you get stuck one day and you're like, I don't know I want to have a casserole, but I don't know how to do it, then they can send you a recipe. And the reason we do that, right, to be vegan, is because then you're not contributing, but the next step is to then be against it actively, in the same way that in any movement, civil rights movement or women's rights movement, it's important to, once you know the truth, to share it.
That's harsh.
Do you agree that no injustice can last forever?
Sorry?
Do you agree that no injustice can last forever? No, evil cannot last forever.
There is justice, like that's the good thing, right?
Not for everyone.
Hopefully for everyone.
Not for them. It's not justice. They're not even given the basic right to life. We don't treat any humans on this planet as badly as we treat the animals.
Yeah.
It's about 56 billion land animals bred and killed every year. There's only 7 billion humans. 2.7 trillion fish or sea animals pulled out of the ocean and killed every year. 2.7 trillion. We're talking about a Holocaust in the true sense of the word, a mass slaughter on a mass scale. And this is wreaking havoc on our environment, because think about how much land it takes to breed and grow that 56 billion animals. So if we go vegan and eventually more of the population goes that way over time, we'll use less land, less resources, we'll have more resources for other people.
So like,
because they're all eating plants, these animals. They're using huge amounts of plant crops. What's your question?
I actually forgot, like I'm distracted.
That's all right. It's good that you're affected because it means that you have empathy. You can put yourself in their position and see it from their point of view. Do you think that it's wrong to, if I had an animal here and I went to stab that animal, would you try and stop me?
If you had a reason you want to stab that animal, I won't stop you.
What if it was an unnecessary reason?
Unnecessary. So like you had no reason you have to.
I didn't have a good reason. Not a good reason.
I'll probably stop you.
And the fact that it's unnecessary, right?
Yeah.
This is all unnecessary.
Alright.
And so in the same way that if you think that you would stop me in that situation, that's being an activist. Because you're stopping an injustice.
Yeah.
But then why would you stop it in one situation and then support it with your money? I like that you're thinking deeply about this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah. I think you know what's right or wrong, and I think you know this is wrong. What do you think? Is it wrong?
Very wrong.
So what are you going to do about it?
I have no idea.
Well, what do you think you can do?
If you just let me sleep on it, then I might think about it.
I think you know that being vegan is the right thing. It's just about you learning, just doing more research and learning how to do it, which I've given you all that information.
Yeah.
Do you know the one thing that most vegans regret? Not going vegan sooner.
I just have to think about it.
Oh, for sure. But what I'm saying is that if you ask anyone here what the best decision they made was, it's going vegan, and I wish I knew this as a kid. I just talked to a little boy before, and I told him, I said, do you think hurting animals is wrong? And he said, yes. And I said, do you know that animal products hurt animals? And he said, Dad, I don't want to use animal products. And his dad went, okay, you're vegan now.
Wow.
And that father was amazing because he's accepting that child's choice.
Yeah.
And that child knew straight away, without even seeing this, that hurting animals is wrong. And the reason I tell you that is because he doesn't have all the years of conditioning. Because we're not born discriminating, we're taught.
How about they're discriminating?
How?
They're called discriminating.
They're discriminating against pigs.
Yeah.
Have you got any questions?
No. I would just like to watch it.
Yeah, you're a really good guy, I can tell you.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Cheers.
Jamie.
Call me Emmanuel.
Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Thank you for the chat.
It's alright.
All right, take care of yourself.